Hi everyone, Sarah Picaro. Today we're going to be talking about daddy issues. And when I say daddy issues, I'm really saying relationship issues because you can be a woman with daddy issues, you can be a woman with mommy issues, you can be a man with daddy issues, you can be a man with mama issues. So it's really just relationship issues because it's one relationship to another. So if you're someone who says, well, I've got daddy issues, that's a relationship with your daddy. And there are issues there. And those issues that you have with daddy or with mommy can lead you to issues with relationships with other men or women. So it's just relationship issues, whether it's daddy issues or mommy issues. But today we're going to specifically talk about daddy issues when it comes to choosing partners. And if you choose narcissistic partners, if you find that you're constantly in toxic relationships, we're going to talk about body image issues in relationship to daddy issues, specifically in this video. And there are so many issues that can occur when you have daddy issues. So we're going to talk about daddy issues kind of at a whole. And its relationship to the issues that you have with yourself. Because whether it's daddy issues or mommy issues, you've got self issues. That's really what's going on here. Your feeling of self worth, self esteem, self confidence, self trust are all because of daddy issues or mommy issues, because they're all relationship issues. It's your relationship with them that impacts your relationship with yourself. So if you came from a relationship or family where your daddy was a narcissist or mama was a narcissist and they were absent. They were absent emotionally, they were absent physically. Maybe they traveled a lot and you know that they worked and they provided for you and your family put a roof over your head, but they were gone. You were not able to connect with them emotionally. You were not able to have your emotional needs met or fulfilled in the presence of their absence. And that's what's going on in this relationship that you have with yourself. Internally, unconsciously, you begin to take that in, consume that, and think, well, what is wrong with me? Why do they not want to be around me? You don't think this because you know logically they're working and they need to work so that you can have a home, you can have clothes, you can have money to do the things that you want to do, you can have toys or whatever it is that you ask for when you're a kid. But every kid just really wants and needs to have a good relationship with their parents, with their daddy, with their mommy. They want to know that that parent loves them, that parent sees them, hears them, supports them, cares about them. So when you've got daddy issues or mommy issues, that's what's absent is the presence of love, connection, compassion, and just the true presence of being able to be yourself in the presence of that person. So if they're absent physically, that can lead to daddy issues. If they're absent emotionally, that can lead to you having daddy issues. And then more than likely you end up choosing partners, narcissistic or not, toxic partners later on in life that reflect uh, that same relationship dynamic. Maybe there's someone who's gone all the time and you're just left to just sit there, be there, take it, be there when they come home, have dinner on the table. Maybe you're left with to put up with the absence of emotional connection, and that becomes an issue in your relationship with them, that they're is no emotional support or connection. There is no emotional understanding. And you're expected to call it a relationship and call it love, but it really isn't that. It's really an issue. Maybe you are in relationships with partners now who have highly toxic traits because they lack the emotional ability to provide that within that relationship. And that can go back to your first relationship where you had daddy issues, right? Because you didn't have that healthy emotional connection with your daddy, with your mommy. And now that same familiar pattern and dynamic is displaying in your adult relationship. So daddy issues, mommy issues, they all come down to this core issue that you have with yourself, wondering what's wrong with me? Why is it that no matter what I do, no matter how much I try to give, I don't receive what I really want? Love, connection, emotional empathy, emotional support. There's this lack, there's a hole, and there's a void of that there. Specifically, if you're someone who says, I think I've got daddy issues, right? And looking at that first foundational relationship that you had with daddy or with mommy, what was there? What wasn't there? And it is both. It's not in this or that. It's this and that. What was there? Maybe you had everything that you needed. Maybe you had everything that you could possibly want, and you were made sure of that. And you were told that constantly. What else is it that you want me to do for you? I do everything for you. And you're thinking, wow, I don't feel valid and feeling like I don't have all my needs met because emotionally, I want more of you. I want to connect with you. And they're not able to give that to you as a child or even as an adult, all because they don't have that to give themselves. And that can lead to an abundance of other issues. I said earlier, we're going to talk about this relation and correlation to body image issues. I'm going to share with you a personal story, example, and experience that I had that led me to with my daddy, and that led me to having the same interaction and experience with a narcissist in my past life. So, I vividly remember, right, having daddy issues, specifically around womanizing and having body image issues. I remember leaving church weekly and watching my dad watch women walk out of church and kind of going like this. I would be talking to my dad and I would realize he wasn't there, he wasn't listening, he wasn't, present with me. And he would constantly ask me to repeat myself. I would get frustrated. I would shut down. And so I would turn my voice down lower. And then I would get yelled at, shamed, punished, and told I needed to speak up so that he could hear me. It's no wonder I have hearing aids now because the body presents physically what it is processing emotionally. So watching my dad walk out of church and look at women like this and not be present, not be connected, not be available with me, I would see what it is that was calling and drawing his attention and seeing where else his energy was going and realizing, okay, it's not here with me, what's going on, and seeing where it was going. And years later, when I was playing soccer, I had to practice. Obviously, in soccer, you run a lot. My body began to shape and transform and began to look differently. And it was a compliment. Compliments feel good to receive, right? And I was complimented on, how I looked. And I must be doing really well because I looked like a soccer player, which meant, I was losing weight, my muscles were toning up. Uh, I already had some other body image issues at that time. This was high school, so I wasn't eating anything. I was saving my lunch money to buy clothes, all to impress boys at school. But I was getting praise for the way that my body was changing. And I didn't know it until later on doing the unconscious work that I did to really discover this. But that began this unconscious belief that in order to be liked, to have a connection with my dad, I needed to look a certain way. I needed to have my body shaped and formed a certain way so that I could receive his attention, that attention that was given to others. In that example of the women who were at church walking out, walking behind them, kind of looking at them like this. That's where the love, attention, affection, energy was going. And then I realized, wow, I'm receiving this when my body looks a certain way. That began this journey of having body image issues, body dysmorphia, bulimia, binging and purging that lasted through college as well, and showed up in my relationships, specifically my relationships with narcissists. It was very, very much about how I looked, the things that I needed to do to my body to get it to look a particular or certain way, the weight that my body needed to be, the shape that my body needed to be. And these are all from daddy issues. And they show up in other relationships and they impact everything about your life. I was running no less than 5 miles a day. I was eating way, way too little calories just to feel like they wanted me, that they were attracted to me, that we had this connection, and it was all physical because there was a lack of an emotional connection, but there was a very strong physical connection. I later realized the narcissist doesn't care and they will tell you whatever they want, whatever they think that you want to hear, about whatever it is they think you want to hear about. In this case, it was the physical appearance, but I had these body image issues that are all connected and related to these daddy issues that I had that led me to repeating these same cycles, patterns, because that feeling that I had that if my body was a certain way, I had this emotional high, this emotional connection because I would receive compliments from the men in my life. And that's what was driving my life for a long time, were these daddy issues. And I didn't realize the same thing that was happening with the daddy issues before I was ever in a relationship led me to being in relationships with narcissists and forcing my body to do things that were unnatural to it. I was very, very underweight. I would get comments from other women that I needed to eat, that I was too skinny, that I was too small. And it does a number on your self-worth, on your self-confidence, on your self-esteem. And daddy issues do a number on that. Narcissistic relationships do a number on that. And it leads you down this very, very self-harming and self-destructive path. Things that you will do to yourself, that the things that you will put yourself through, all in the name of getting that which you never received. And that's where the damage is. The damage is in the beliefs that you have to do these things to get that which you never received, that which you desire. It's just truly this loving connection. You want to be seen, connected for who you are, but you're not. You're only seen for other things. I felt like I was only seen when my body looked a certain way. And that comes from daddy issues. That doesn't just come from daddy issues, that can come from mommy issues. If you have a very critical mother, if you have an absent mother, and it only seems like her presence is there when you look a certain way or when you achieve a certain thing. And this impacts everything about your life. The ways that you spend your time, the people you spend your time with, the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs that you have about yourself. So if you truly want to get to the core and the root of your daddy issues or your body image issues, in this case, and as this video explains in this example, you've got to go beneath the surface. You've got to truly connect with what is it that's going on internally and unconsciously, because that's what led to the habits, the patterns and behaviors, that unconscious belief about myself that I didn't know that I had in the absence of that which wasn't there with my dad. There was no emotional connection, but I felt this emotional connection and I felt, wow, he really sees me when my body began to change. Therefore, I began running, I began lifting, I became obsessed with my body physique and it looking a particular way, which can lead to body dysmorphia, can lead to body image issues, all because of these daddy issues that came from the unconscious beliefs that I had about myself, that the way to find that connection, experience that connection, which gave me that feeling of love, of, oh, okay, this is what I need to do. That can lead you into this path of becoming obsessed with it, doing self-destructive things. So if you've got daddy issues, if you've got body image issues, you've got unconscious belief issues. So truly getting to what those unconscious beliefs that you have about yourself are that are leading you to doing the things that maybe you are tired of doing, you're exhausted from doing, you're burnt out from doing. I know that like keeping my body looking the way that it did on the outside was emotionally exhausting. It was physically exhausting. It was draining. It led to adrenal fatigue. It led to injuries in my body. I mean, I was running marathons constantly. So I had issues with my knees, issues with my back. I mean, it's like a dominoes. So if that's where you're at, you realize you have daddy issues, you have body image issues, you have all kinds of issues, you got physical issues now, understand that they're all connected and related, and they're all connected and related to the unconscious beliefs that you have. So the exploration of that and getting to the very core and root of that is like dominoes in the positive effect, right? You can have this slew of negative effects. You can also have a slew of positive effects when you realize that all of these things are connected and related, that one thing leads to another. So if you're really wanting to truly transform and break through from it, you've got to find where it's truly connected and how it's showing up and impacting your life. And that is within the unconscious processing that's occurring, that's leading you to doing all of these other things. I truly at one time thought, felt, and believed that I had to look a certain way to find this connection. And even though I did look that certain way, I wasn't experiencing what I thought I would as far as the benefits from that connection go. I did look a certain way, but I still didn't feel loved because I was trying to feel loved in a narcissistic relationship, and you can't. But I realized this all was an internal reflection of how I felt about myself. I wasn't going to feel loved if I continued to torture myself and put my body through these horrendous experiences, surgeries. I mean, physically torturing my body and never feeling like it was enough. And that all had to do with what I believed about myself. And everything is impacted by the unconscious beliefs that you have about yourself. So if you realize you have daddy issues, you've got body image issues, and you're ready to break free and transform from all of that, I'd love to see you inside of our program, Transforming Past Pain to Present Power, to completely heal at all of those levels. Or if you are ready to just expedite that process and you're interested in working one-to-one, you can find information on both of those things in the description and the links below this video. So I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you resonate with some of it. I mean, I do, but I don't, because those are not fun things to resonate with. But if you do, you're not alone. And if that's where you're at, know that you don't need to be stuck there forever. Rapid, powerful healing is available to you. And I'd love to talk to you more about beginning that journey. All right, guys, that is it for today's video on daddy issues, body image issues, and all the other issues. All right, until next time.